Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the challenges and most importantly the opportunities that the mobile phone is playing in the market research process. And I'm going to start with talking about a couple of the very positive things about why we're very excited at Ipsos and across the industry about the mobile. And it's this little phone that 10 years ago, if we said that everyone would be carrying around this device that we could do research on, we wouldn't even have to buy these devices for people. They'll have these devices. We can do surveys with them, they can take photos and videos, they can be engaged with them. Now, we wouldn't necessarily believe it, but we do have that device there for us now to use. And that's really exciting. And I think what I'm presenting today is some things, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. So why is the time right for mobile? I did the first mobile survey on SMS about a decade ago, but there hasn't really been too much until quite recently. But now we really feel that the time is right, and I see this kind of in three different ways. The sample gap, okay? The mobile, sorry. The mobile is excellent because you have the young people who you cannot find in traditional methodologies anymore. In emerging nations, you have the mobile, which is the main primary way for people to access the internet. Secondly, the mobile provides the ideal tool to engage people with. They can complete research when it's convenient to them. And thirdly, and some of the things you'll show today, is that the mobile really gives the opportunity to do new things that perhaps we haven't done before, and try some things with the video functions and the photo functions to find new insight in our research. And I've got more statistics that building on the things that people have said before, but the smartphone ownership has gone up rapidly recently. And if you look at the iPhone ownership amongst the under 35s, it's jumped from 7% to 20% in a 6-month period at the beginning of 2010. So people are really using these phones, and I think this is like the reason why the time is right now, because the amount of mobile phone coverage in most countries is over 100%. People are doing more clever things with their mobile phones. Even the base model of mobile phone that you can buy now has cameras and GPS and social network all on it. And the iPhone, which we have as a research industry a lot to thank for, opened the way up for mobile apps, and the mobile became something that added richness to someone's life rather than just being a simple device to make phone calls. Picking up on something that Mark said, there's challenges as well. And here is someone here deciding what they're going to do next. They've got their iPhone, they've got 250,000 apps, there's an app for everything, or an Android, rapidly increasing the number of apps, 140,000 apps we now got on the Android place. So what are people going to do? Now, I love market research, and I'm sure you all do as well, but is it necessarily as exciting as some of these apps? Well, I think we could argue perhaps it isn't. So, as an industry, we have to be very creative about how we invent new opportunities, new ways of doing research that engage people, and let this lady here decide that she wants to do some research on her mobile phone. So what I'm going to do now is, the final slide on this is about about rethinking the process. The biggest mistake the research industry will make is to try to move traditional methods onto the mobile phone. Now, how do we take this 45-minute survey, which by the way isn't working on online anymore, how do we push that onto the mobile phone? Well, please, don't do that. What we need to be able to do is look at it and play to the strengths of mobile. So it's about short research experiences more often, and then play to the fact that the mobile phone is on you all the time, it's at the point of experience, it has these great features, and re-engineer the process. And that's the challenge at Ipsos that we're embracing and how we do that. So I'm going to take you through some mobile research opportunities, some of which we've been doing and some of which are kind of ideas that we want to work on. Now the first one is we don't actually need to ask questions for mobile research. Why don't we just listen to what's going on with a mobile phone? Now this is a little bit about myself, about when I wake up and when I start my work, and where I make my phone calls, and where I happen to be during the day, when I go to bed, what I do at the weekends, and that I tweet, and all these things that probably aren't particularly interesting to you. But the point is, none of you know this about me, but my BlackBerry does know this about me because it is with me throughout my entire day and it tracks me. So why not put an app down on the phone and start to bring all this data to life and start piecing it together and put people's, as we call it, live stream data to really tell and uncover things about the consumer without actually needing to ask any questions. And that's exactly what we've been doing, and a recent pilot which we carried out in the UK did exactly that. So we put an application down on the phone, we monitored people for a month, and of course we asked permission for them to do this. You have to be absolutely open and honest that you're doing this, and if you do that, people will play and that they will agree to do this. And then you can see like collecting information about where they're going on the mobile web, what applications they're downloading and using, what music and media they're listening to. All this built into fascinating reports. And what we're also able to do is we'll pop up little surveys as well onto the phone. So if someone's just finished their mobile web session, then a little pop-up came up and says, you know, how was that session? Was it good for you? So you're combining the passive and the active in one place. An example, a very simple example of mobile research in an active way is an SMS poll. So on the radio station, they want to find something out, the topic of the day, they ask the question, and then people respond to it very quickly. Now you get extremely fast responses with mobile research using SMS. And SMS, by the way, I think it's like 75% of the UK population are now using SMS, so it's also very inclusive. You can get like 75% of the responses come like just in the first hour, making it very, very quick to be able to take those results and announce them, broadcast them or publish them. Now, building on some of the discussion we had with Justin, is what we're also doing is we're starting to get inside people's lives using the mobile phone. Now, the advantage that we can have on this is that it can be done quite cost effectively, because people have these mobile devices and they can go around and they have the video and they have the photos. And they can go around, and it's kind of like a mobile ethnography, although that offends ethnographers, but it does start to help us get into people's lives. And they can be taking the photo. So here we have a person who's a Moyles fan, and they're talking through their morning of how they listen to Moyles and how they interact with the radio during the morning as they get the kids ready for school and take them to school. And then the second example of this is a day in the life of someone's media consumption. So here we have James. And he talks us through, and to get some context around his day, he's taking some photos and he's making comments. So he starts with the radio. He has a play around with Sky to set up his TV recording for the day. He's listening to his radio at work via his computer. And then he's got movies on the train, and then he comes home and the girlfriend is using the Wii Fit, watch some TV, and then finish the day on the DVD. So we get an insight, not just sort of asking, I do this, I do that, I do that, but kind of descriptions around it and the photographs. And then this example of fits with the thing about needing to be creative and engage people. You know, why would these two young girls want to take part in research? Well, it's because we make it a bit more fun and we give them something that they'd enjoy doing. So this is about people being able to co-create in a group of friends. This is called the Diva Chicks group. So people sign up and become part of this community, and they're able to say, if I was the DJ for the day, what would my playlist be? They set their playlist and they can share it with the other groups. People can then vote on which songs that they like, and then it's an aggregated playlist, and then this playlist then can be played at a particular time on the radio, so people can listen in and feel that they're creating the radio content. But when you've got these people engaged now, then it's the opportunity to then take them further in and take part in research. They can go into the research lounge and they can do other types of research, other surveys that you need them to do. Radio apps, here's just a few of them. There are many radio apps out there, and this is an opportunity to, I think, integrate research applications within the mobile apps. It's all well and good as we are developing applications that can go down on people's phones, but if they can be integrated within the radio apps, then you can do research all in one place. So you can start understanding how those research apps are used, how often each day they're used, what the key times of the day are being used. And what we're doing, if we have these apps down on people's phones, that if you're developing a new app, then we can find out that before the app was installed, how people were behaving, and how your app being put onto their phone has actually changed the way that their phone is being used. If there's advertising within the app, then we can monitor what's being seen on that. And really cleverly, because the mobile phone has all these other things, like people go to the web and pay for things, people might go down to the store, because we can track location and where people go on the web, we can even see whether or not that advert has had any impact in the behaviour of what they've actually done after they've seen it. And then similarly on the active side, some of those things I've talked through, the polls and being able to introduce new concepts to people and ask what they think about it, is all available if you have these research apps within the applications. We're working on diaries. Diaries is a great thing for mobile because the diary is with you at all the time. It's there when you experience things, when you consume something. So it seems like the obvious place to then be able to record things. Now this is an example of one that's actually just gone live. As you'll see from the way we've tried to design it, we've tried to make it slightly more engaging. It's not just text. We've tried to use the emoticons and images to make it pleasant on the eye and people wanting to go back and complete it. And what we've also done are two things here which are highlighted in the red, is one that each time someone, as we're calling it, checks in to respond to the diary, then they get points, and then also we then show them how many points they've got compared to the rest of the people. So we add some sort of competition to keep people wanting to go back and check in, and there's prizes for people who get to the top of the list. This is a study. This is a Touchpoints study in the US, which was the technology was developed by Apollo Mobile, who we're also working with in the UK. This is an example of if you get the diary right, then what can happen. And this is over a 10-day completion requirement. 90% of the people manage to get all the way through it and complete it every day, which for a diary I think is quite astonishing. And then they asked people, who enjoyed it. Then the 8.1%. 8.1 out of 10 people said that they enjoyed it. So again, some success there, which we're trying to build on. And then the final thing is about bringing radio listening diaries onto the mobile. And I've already explained some of the advantages that you can get the out-of-home listening when it's fresh in their mind, and also the mobile provides an excellent way to be able to remind people. So you can choose whether or not people get reminded by SMSs being sent to their phone, whether it's the phone vibrating. Be able to have this communication with them and allow them to choose the way that they prefer to be communicated with. And then something we're very excited about, which is bringing together what we're talking about with a passive side, being able to monitor what's going on and being able to hear what's going on with the microphones in the phone. And we'll hear more about that. But combining that with the active side allows us to have this sort of all-in-one diary. So that's it from me. So I'm going to hand back to Liz, I believe, to introduce the next speaker.